Dear colleagues and dear friends, it is a great honor and a big pleasure for me to be with you in these days and to have the opportunity to speak to you. The world is facing a landmark decision. As Albert Einstein and Bertrand Russell called it, and they quoted, "We put an end to the human race, or shall mankind renounce nuclear weapons and war?" We have to agree wholeheartedly with the General Secretary of the United Nations when he says that the world is overarmed and peace is underfunded. In 2013, the governments of the world spent $1.74 trillion on arms. This is the equivalent to $3.31 million per minute or $55,000 per second. The US alone spent $40 billion per year. And NATO, the most powerful military alliance in human history, counts for 72% of the whole figure. How crazy! Let me recall a few well-known images so we never forget. 805 million people are going hungry to bed, probably more. Millions of children are undernourished. 750 million people have very restricted or no access to clean water. 2.5 billion people have no sanitarium provisions. And to eradicate malaria, we need a one-off investment of only $100 billion and an ongoing expenditure of $10 million per year. Peanuts when I'm looking to the military budget. I do not want to continue with statistics. To the billions of people with no work or precarious employment status or the exploitation of children and women, which could be changed when we are coming to military disarmament. The consequences of all these military budgets in the world are more than 50 million refugees in the world and almost 30 million refugees in their own countries. The UN General Secretary set up a fund to combat the efforts of climate change. The amount of money for these funds is $100 billion annually. Up to now, the countries of the world are only given $13 billion. It is easy to change it when we are coming to military disarmament. And I also would like to remind you that there is an alternative. Costa Rica spent 0% of their GDP for military spending. Costa Rica abolished its army. The immense military expenditure is only one side of the humanity. The other side is the profit. Lockheed Martin, the largest producer of war equipment, made a profit of $2.7 billion 2012 and 2013 each year. Boeing, BHE, and Airbus are achieving similar profit rates thanks to public tax monies. Dear colleague, but we are looking in an even more worse future. War is being fought daily with these weapons. Or to put it more accurately, these ultra-modern equipment and these high-tech military products. But we are in front of a new dimension of war, and war weapons are being developed, including automatic robot wars, war in space, and war from space. These technological developments are raising the power of destructing enormously. And war without direct human beings' commands are being made possible. The military calls this human beings are out of the loop and the military is in the loop. Creatures soaring over the horizon turn out to be a gruesome sci-fi killing machines. Drones turning the sky red as a deaf to international law and led us into a new dimension of war and murders. In 2014, the war currently expiring 38 to 40 wars of extreme violent conflicts. Almost 30 million people have died in conflict since 1945. And the tip of these icebergs of militarism and destruction are surely the nuclear weapons. There are still more than 16,000 nuclear weapons in existence. Just a small fraction of these would be enough to permanently wipe out human existence on this planet. It is uncertain whether even a few amoeba would survive a nuclear war. The planet, as a living entity, would be irrevocably destroyed. These nuclear weapons are currently being modernized. The expenditure during the coming years for this will be around $1 trillion for all nuclear weapon states and $700 billion alone for the United States. It will surely turn out to be even more expensive, and it will definitely result in an even more dangerous situation. Or have we forgotten how often we barely escaped the end of the world with a nuclear war being triggered by accident due to technical errors? NATO's new policy of confrontation, many are even speaking of a new Cold War, will also surely lead to further increases in military expenditure. The last NATO summit said that all countries have to spend 2% of their GDP for military purposes. This means, again, a new arms race, because Russia and China will definitely follow this arms race. International law will be ignored. Illegal wars are just business as usual. And what sort of misinterpretation of the law can justify one person as acting as prosecutor, judge, and hangman, all at the same time, as it is the case with drone interventions? The madness of arms race is multiplying. Even further increase in military expenditure increases the probability of more wars, more destruction, and more death. Dear colleagues, it is the challenge of the century to free the world from this scourge, the scourge of war. A world without war or nuclear weapons, this is our challenge. A challenge for the current and future generation to save life and environment. After all, war does not appear from nowhere. Wars are conducted by humans, furthering their interests and justified by the politics of power. This means that humans can also abolish war. Wars are the most perverse and pointed expression of power and forcible imposition of the will of a few powerful nations, led by NATO and the United States. With war, they strive to enforce the economic and geopolitical interests in the Ukraine, Middle East, Afghanistan, Far East, Mali, Sudan. I can continue this list. It is wherever they find gas and oil flowing, or gold, copper, bauxite, and other rare minerals to be exploited. For these peoples are incited to fight each other, ethnic conflicts misappropriated, religious misused, conflict fomented, hate figures, embezzlement created. Let us hope them back and stop this perversity. Lay down your arms, said Bertha von Suttner 100 years ago. Millions of people returning from the battlefield of the First and Second World War were convinced we should never again fight a war. There will be meaningful employment alternatives for all of those workers in the arms industry. A worldwide arms conversion, supported and financed by the billions no longer being spent to the military, will make it possible for all of those currently working for death to work for life instead and help to shape a useful future for humanity. The challenges can be met if the political will to do so is heard. So my question to you, should we not join forces to work together for a global conversion plan and maybe name this plan Philip Jennings' plan for all his work he has done for peace? Dear colleagues, unless we abolish the institution of war, we will not be able to achieve a sustainable, ecological, responsible, and socially just world. Or can you imagine wars being fought in a just world? Justice and social emancipation ultimately requires peace. This is why my opinion that the labor unions and UNI are natural partner for the worldwide peace movement. Wherever human beings are in our focus, wherever we are concerned about improving the life of billions of value creators and their families, wherever humans want to live in happiness with a healthy environment and our finite, wonderful blue planet, that is where peace has to and will prevail. So my appeal to you is this: let us join our forces in our common struggle for peace and for the abolishing of weapons and war. We are billions of humans who will profit from peace, and we are stronger than the profitees of war. Let us organize more joint actions around the world. The peace movement and the workers' movement belongs together. We shall overcome. Thank you.